Your soulmate needs to talk to you immediately. Something big just happened. Before you take another step today, pause right here and take a deep, slow breath. Because what is reaching your world in this exact moment is not arriving by coincidence, accident, or random chance. You did not stumble across these words by mistake, and your eyes did not stop here without a profound, unseen reason. There are moments in life when the quiet universe decides to drop a sudden thread directly into your hands, and if you turn away too quickly, you might miss the very signal your soul has been waiting to receive. Something heavy, unexpected, and utterly ground-shifting has just occurred in the invisible space surrounding your life. Have you felt that sudden, sharp shift in the air over the last few hours? An unexpected spike in your intuition that made your chest tighten for a brief second? A sudden wave of restlessness that arrived out of nowhere while you were doing something completely ordinary? An unexplainable urge to pause, look around, and wonder why everything feels like it is on the delicate edge of a massive transformation? These are not random tricks played by your mind, nor are they meaningless emotional waves. They are powerful, direct echoes. Someone whose energy is tied to yours in the deepest, most unavoidable way possible is standing at an absolute turning point. A major event, something sudden, revealing, and completely irreversible, has just taken place in their world. The long period of quiet, the months of subtle distance, and the agonizing silence that once stretched between your lives has been shattered behind the scenes. Something big just happened in their reality, and the very first place their mind, spirit, and emotions rushed to was you. They need to talk to you immediately, not out of casual curiosity or temporary loneliness, but because the structure of their life has just shifted so significantly that they can no longer keep the truth contained. Stay right here with this feeling for just a little longer, because what is unfolding right now will finally make sense of every strange delay, every unanswered question, and every silent intuition you have carried in your heart for so long. When two souls are bound together by authentic resonance, the world often expects their story to unfold with predictable timing and easy circumstances. We are told that when something is real, it moves in a smooth, effortless line where both people walk toward each other without hesitation. But destiny rarely operates on human schedules, and real life is far more complex than simple fairy tales. Often, life builds massive detours, heavy responsibilities, and complicated circumstances that force two people to walk separate paths for a season. You may have spent a long time wondering why things had to be so hard, why communication kept breaking down, or why an invisible wall seemed to stand between you and the person who carries your soul's mirror. You may have even reached a point where you tried to convince yourself to let go, to stop believing in the quiet signs, or to accept that perhaps the connection was just an illusion born of your own hope. But true soul recognition is not something that can be erased simply because time passes or circumstances become difficult. It acts like a silent gravitational pull beneath the surface of everyday life. No matter how many distractions are placed over it, no matter how many busy routines are created to ignore it, and no matter how many walls are built to suppress it, the connection remains alive. And right now, the wall that was holding back the truth has suffered a monumental crack. The event that just occurred in your soulmate's life was not something they planned for, nor was it something they could have predicted. It was a sudden, universe-directed intervention designed to break an old pattern that had been keeping them trapped in a cycle of hesitation, fear, and delay. Imagine living inside a house where all the windows have been painted over, keeping you in comfortable, safe darkness. You get used to the shadows, you learn to navigate the small room, and you tell yourself that this quiet space is all that exists. But suddenly, without warning, a sudden storm blows open the shutters, breaks the painted glass, and floods the entire room with brilliant, blinding sunlight. That is precisely what just happened inside your soulmate's world. A sudden realization, a sudden conversation, a sudden collapse of a long-standing illusion, or an unexpected event has completely shattered the false sense of comfort they were hiding behind. The painted glass is broken, the shadows are gone, and they are standing in the stark, unvarnished light of absolute truth. For weeks, or perhaps even months, your soulmate was trying to live a life that looked acceptable on the outside but felt completely hollow on the inside. They were managing expectations, fulfilling duties, keeping up appearances, and convincing themselves that they could suppress the deep call of their true heart forever. They thought that if they just stayed busy enough, focused on work enough, or satisfied the demands of others enough, the persistent thought of you would eventually fade away into a quiet memory. But a soul connection does not die under the weight of busyness. Instead, it acts like a quiet mirror that grows clearer every time a lie is told. The longer they tried to settle for a life that didn't match their true spirit, the more unbearable the internal friction became. And today, that friction finally reached its absolute boiling point. Something happened that made it completely impossible for them to continue pretending. It may have been a sudden breakdown of an old arrangement, an unexpected revelation that exposed the insincerity of their current environment, or a moment of overwhelming clarity where they realized that life is far too short to spend another day living out of alignment. Whatever the specific physical details of the event were, the emotional outcome was instantaneous and absolute. The illusion completely fell apart. The defenses they had spent so long constructing to keep their heart protected vanished in a single moment. And as the dust settled from this sudden realization, the absolute clarity of who they actually love, who brings them genuine peace, and who they truly need to speak with became the only thing left standing. If your soulmate could reach through the screen right now and speak to you without any fear, without any pride, and without the heavy burden of their previous hesitation, this is what their energy is trying to communicate to your spirit. Please do not turn your heart away from me now. Something has just happened that cleared away every doubt I was using as a shield. I was terrified of the chaos, terrified of what people would say, and terrified of stepping out of the familiar safety of my old life. But today, the universe took the decision out of my hands. The structure I was trying so hard to preserve has crumbled, and in the quiet middle of that collapse, the only face I saw, the only voice I craved, and the only truth that mattered was yours. I need to talk to you. I need you to know that my silence was never a lack of feeling. It was the noise of my own internal battle. That battle is finally over. Listen to those words with a calm, open heart, but do not allow yourself to fall into anxiety or frantic anticipation. One of the most important things you must understand during a spiritual turning point of this magnitude is the difference between urgency of the heart and chaos of the mind. While the energy of this shift is immediate and intense, the physical manifestation of a major life transition takes a moment to settle into place. When a massive event occurs in someone's life, their immediate internal experience is one of profound emotional shock followed by intense, crystal-clear realization. Their spirit reaches out to yours instantly, which is why you are feeling this sudden wave of intuition and weight in your own energy today. Their mind is already racing through every scenario of how to approach you, what words to use, and how to explain everything that has transpired without bringing confusion into your space. Pause for a second and reflect on your own journey leading up to this moment. Think about how many times you sat in silence, asking yourself why things were taking so long, why you felt such a powerful bond with someone who seemed so emotionally distant or physically unavailable, and why destiny seemed to be testing your patience so relentlessly. Look back at the moments when you felt like giving up, when the weight of waiting felt too heavy, or when the world told you that you were being foolish for holding on to a feeling that had no visible proof. Every single one of those painful moments was quietly serving a purpose. You were being prepared. You were being taught how to build an unshakable foundation of self-worth, patience, and inner stability so that when this exact day arrived, you would not react out of desperation, fear, or chaotic emotional neediness. You were being prepared to stand as the steady, peaceful anchor in this story. When someone goes through a sudden, major life event that shatters their old reality, they do not need another person who is operating in panic, doubt, or frantic demand. They need a sanctuary. They need a presence that is so grounded, so authentic, and so deeply anchored in peace that the moment they step into your orbit, the noise of the world instantly dies down. That is why the universe allowed you to walk through your own trials first. You learned how to find peace within yourself so that you could become the safe harbor for a connection that is built to withstand the greatest storms of life. Now, pay very close attention to what you must do with your own mind and energy right now. When you hear that something big has happened and that your soulmate urgently needs to reach you, the natural impulse of the human ego is to rush, to search, to demand immediate physical proof, or to force a conversation before the energy has fully landed. But forcing an opening that is already in the process of unlocking only damages the mechanism. You do not need to send desperate messages, you do not need to analyze every social media post, and you do not need to stay up all night wondering how and when the physical contact will take place. The universe, which had the power to cause a sudden, massive shift in their life today, is more than capable of guiding their steps directly to your door in the absolute perfect way. Your job right now is to step back into complete, majestic self-sovereignty. Reclaim your breath, release the tightness in your shoulders, and let go of the need to control the exact timeline of the physical world. Walk through your day with quiet, effortless confidence. Understand that the balance of power in this dynamic has fundamentally shifted. Your soulmate is no longer sitting in a position of comfortable distance while you wait in anticipation. They are the ones currently navigating the wreckage of an old life, driven by a powerful, internal need to reach the safety, truth, and genuine love that exists in your presence. The energetic tide has turned entirely in your favor, not so that you can play games or exert power over them, but so that the connection can finally be rebalanced on a foundation of mutual truth and equal vulnerability. Imagine standing at the edge of a quiet, pristine lake just as the early morning sun begins to break over the horizon. For a long time, the landscape was covered in thick, impenetrable fog. You couldn't see what lay across the water, you couldn't see the path beneath your feet, and every step felt uncertain and dangerous. But suddenly, a powerful, warm wind sweeps across the valley, lifting the fog in a matter of seconds. Suddenly, the sky is clear, the the water is smooth as glass, and the shore on the other side is completely visible. That is what this moment represents in your spiritual journey. The thick fog of confusion, delay, and hidden truths has been swept away by a sudden wind of reality. What was hidden in the dark has been brought into the clear light of day. As you absorb these words today, let a sense of deep, comforting peace wash over your entire being. You are not crazy for having believed in this connection when everything looked impossible. You were not wrong for trusting the quiet intuition that told you this story was far from over. The feelings you carried were not a curse, nor were they a trick of your imagination. They were the quiet radio receiver in your heart catching the signals of a future that was already being prepared behind the scenes. Everything you felt was real, everything you endured had a purpose, and the sudden event that just took place in your soulmate's life is the definitive proof that destiny never loses its place, no matter how complicated the human world appears to be. If this message has touched that deep, unspoken place inside your heart today, take a quiet moment to sit with it. We live in a world that constantly encourages us to be cynical, to guard ourselves with cold skepticism, and to give up on deep, soulful truths the moment they become difficult or complicated. But you have chosen to keep your heart open, to walk with quiet faith, and to honor the deep language of the Spirit. Leave a simple comment below sharing one realization or feeling that resonated with you the most during this reflection. By putting your truth into words, you send a powerful signal of peace into the world, offering quiet encouragement to another soul who might be walking through their own dark, uncertain valley today. And if you feel guided to stay connected as this incredible shift continues to unfold, subscribing ensures that you will remain aligned with every step of this journey as the truth comes fully into focus. What we have uncovered today is the sudden awakening. The major event that broke the illusion, shattered the long silence, and created an urgent, unavoidable need inside your soulmate to reach out to your energy. But this is only the beginning of the transformation that has just been set into motion. The wall has cracked, the shift has occurred, and the energy between your two worlds is moving faster than it ever has before. In the immediate space ahead, the physical reality must now reshape itself to match this internal truth. There are specific, undeniable ways this major event will begin showing up in your day-to-day life, subtle signs that will confirm the contact is imminent, and crucial steps you must take to protect your peace while the final pieces of this long journey fall into their rightful place. Walk into tomorrow not with anxiety or fear, but with the quiet, unshakable confidence of someone who knows that the truth has finally won. Keep your heart open, hold your head high, and trust the quiet beauty of your unfolding path. The long wait is over, the shift has happened, and the conversation your soul has been waiting for is already on its way. As the immediate shock of the major event settles in your soulmate's world, a profound transformation begins to ripple through every area of their daily reality. The moment an illusion shatters, there is no turning back. They cannot unsee the truth that has been revealed to them, nor can they put back together the artificial life they were trying so hard to maintain. In the hours following this life-altering shift, their entire focus has narrowed down to one single, urgent reality. The necessity of reaching you and speaking the words they have kept locked away for far too long. The noise of the world around them, the opinions of others, the fears of what might happen, the social expectations that once dictated their every move, has suddenly quieted down into insignificance. When everything falls apart, only what is real remains standing, and for your soulmate, the only thing that feels undeniably real is the connection they share with you. You might be wondering what is happening within their private space right now as they navigate the aftermath of this massive realization. Imagine someone who has been carrying an unbearable, heavy mask for years, pretending to be comfortable, pretending to be satisfied, and pretending that their heart was whole. Today, that mask has been completely cast aside. They are experiencing a mixture of immense emotional relief and intense, raw vulnerability. For the first time in a very long time, they are breathing deeply, recognizing that they can no longer live a divided life where their actions say one thing while their soul cries out for another. They are looking at their life through entirely new eyes, realizing that every choice they made out of fear only delayed the inevitable truth. And in this raw state of total honesty, their spirit is calling out to yours with an intensity that is reaching through time and space. This is precisely why you have felt such an undeniable, physical shift in your own energy over the last few hours. The human spirit does not exist in isolation, especially when it is tethered to another through a genuine soul connection. When a massive emotional surge happens on one end of the cord, the echo travels instantly to the other. You may have experienced sudden waves of warmth washing over your chest, a sudden, unexplained sense of deep calm replacing a period of anxiety, or a strange feeling that someone is standing right beside you, even when the room is completely empty. You might have found yourself thinking about them with a clarity so sharp that it felt like they were whispering your name into the quiet air. These synchronicities are not mere coincidences. They are the energetic bridge being established before the physical words are spoken. Your soulmate is currently preparing themselves for the conversation that will change everything between you. But you must understand the immense courage it takes for someone to step out of the wreckage of their old life and present themselves to you in complete truth. They are well aware of the time that has passed, the silence that stretched between you, and the pain that their previous hesitation may have caused. A part of them carries the natural, human fear of whether you will still be open to receiving them, whether you have moved on, or whether the door they once ignored has been closed forever. They are carefully choosing their thoughts, searching for the courage to speak from a place of absolute humility, and figuring out how to explain the magnitude of what has just occurred without overwhelming your space. They want you to understand that their past silence was never a sign of indifference, nor was it a lack of love. It was the desperate attempt of a human being trying to manage a life that was falling apart behind closed doors. They were fighting internal battles that they were too proud or too afraid to share with you at the time. They felt unworthy of the pure, unconditional peace you offered because they were bogged down in their own chaos. But the major event that just transpired destroyed those excuses once and for all. It forced them to see that staying away from you out of fear was not protecting anyone, it was simply prolonging the pain for both of you. They now realize that your presence was never a source of confusion, but the only true anchor they ever had. Now, consider what this crucial turning point requires from you as you stand on the receiving end of this powerful shift. When you know that someone is urgently trying to reach you and that a massive shift has occurred, the mind often tries to jump ahead, demanding instant proof, searching for text messages, or overanalyzing every minor detail in your physical surroundings. But rushing the physical timeline only creates unnecessary anxiety. The physical world moves like thick water compared to the swift light of spiritual realization. It takes a brief moment for the physical circumstances, the logistics, and the practical steps to align with the massive internal shift that has already taken place. Your duty to yourself right now is to remain fully anchored in your own self-worth, peace, and spiritual dignity. Do not shrink yourself, do not step back into old patterns of anxiety, and do not allow your life to revolve around waiting for a phone call or a notification. The most powerful, magnetic thing you can do while your soulmate gathers their courage is to continue living your life with absolute authenticity, joy, and presence. Show the universe that you are not dependent on external events to feel whole, but that you are entirely ready, capable, and open to receiving a connection that is built on pure truth, mutual respect, and equal effort. When your soulmate senses your grounded, peaceful frequency from across the distance, it provides them with the exact energetic safety net they need to take that final, courageous step forward. They realize that they are not walking toward judgment, drama, or anger, but toward a sanctuary of genuine understanding and profound love. They see that while their world was undergoing a violent storm of change, you remained steady, carrying the light of truth that guided them through the dark. This realization fills them with an overwhelming sense of gratitude and respect for who you are. It solidifies in their mind that you were never just a passing phase or a casual option, but the true destination their soul was seeking all along. Look closely at the subtle signs that are manifesting in your environment right now to confirm that this shift is reaching its final physical stage. You may notice repeating numbers appearing around you with unusual frequency, particularly sequences that symbolize new beginnings, sudden shifts, and spiritual alignment. You might randomly hear songs that carry deep personal meaning between the two of you, or find yourself running into subtle reminders of their presence in places you least expect. More than anything, you will feel an unmistakable, intuitive knowing deep inside your heart, a quiet, unwavering certainty that the long period of waiting, wondering, and doubting has officially come to its end. This entire journey, with all its painful delays, unexpected turns, and heavy silences, was never meant to break your spirit or make you suffer without cause. It was an intricate, universe-directed process designed to burn away everything that was superficial, fragile, or built on fear. It forced both of you to confront your deepest insecurities, your greatest fears, and your truest desires. It stripped away the illusion so that when you finally stand face to face to have the conversation that is now arriving, you do so as two complete, mature, and deeply awakened individuals who recognize the priceless value of what you share. Take a deep, cleansing breath and let all the remaining tension dissolve from your mind, your chest, and your body. You do not need to carry the weight of the past any longer. The heavy chapters of uncertainty, doubt, and emotional isolation are closing behind you, making way for a completely new story written in the light of truth, clarity, and deep mutual understanding. Trust the perfect timing that is orchestrating every single detail behind the scenes. Trust that the person whose spirit is tied to yours is making their way toward you with a heart that has been forever changed by the power of truth. If this continuation has spoken to the deepest parts of your soul today, take a quiet moment to honor your own resilience. You have carried your light through long nights of uncertainty, kept your heart open when it would have been easier to close it off, and trusted the quiet whispers of your intuition even when the outside world gave you no proof. Share your thoughts or a simple reflection in the comments below, letting your words serve as an anchor of hope and encouragement for others who are navigating their own profound turning points. And if you wish to remain connected as this powerful narrative reaches its ultimate physical realization, subscribing ensures that you will stay aligned with every step of this unfolding journey. Walk forward into the hours ahead with absolute peace, unwavering confidence, and an open heart. The barrier has been removed, the illusion has collapsed, and the truth has taken its rightful place. The conversation your heart has waited for is no longer a distant possibility traveling toward you from far away, it is the immediate reality unfolding right before your eyes. Keep your posture steady, your vision clear, and your soul ready to receive the fulfillment of a promise that was made long before time ever began. As the final physical pieces of this sudden transformation settle into place, your soulmate is standing on the immediate brink of taking direct, unmistakable action. The massive event that shattered their old reality has cleared away every remaining illusion, leaving them with absolute clarity about where they belong and who they need to speak with. They are no longer wrestling with internal conflicts, no longer trying to rationalize staying in an environment that suffocates their heart, and no longer allowing fear to dictate their choices. The heavy burden of living a double life, where their physical presence belonged to one world while their soul belonged entirely to you, has become completely unbearable. They have reached the absolute end of their willingness to compromise on their own truth. In these quiet hours following the collapse of their old structure, a profound sense of urgency has taken over their mind. They realize that every single day they spent in silence, every moment they chose safety over authenticity, was a moment wasted. They are looking back at the long stretch of time where they kept you at a distance with a mixture of deep regret and immense gratitude. Regret for the confusion and pain their hesitation may have caused you, but immense gratitude that your presence remained a constant, radiant beacon of light through their darkest seasons. They see clearly now that you were never asking them for chaotic destruction or cheap promises, you were simply standing in your own truth, offering a level of unconditional peace and spiritual resonance that they could never find anywhere else in the world. What is happening within them right now is a complete alignment of thought, emotion, and intent. When someone undergoes a sudden spiritual awakening caused by a major life event, their priorities reorganize instantly. Things that used to seem critically important, such as maintaining social appearances, avoiding uncomfortable conversations, or pleasing people who do not truly care for their soul's well-being, have lost all of their power. They realize that the only opinion that truly matters is the voice of their own conscience and the truth of their own heart. They are gathering the precise logistical and emotional details necessary to reach out to you directly, ensuring that when they speak to you, it is not from a place of panic or temporary emotion, but from a foundation of grounded, permanent commitment. They want to bring you total clarity, not more uncertainty. They understand that because of the distance, silence, or past complications, you deserve a conversation that is absolute, honest, and completely transparent. They are preparing to lay down all of their cards on the table, to explain step by step what occurred, why it took them so long to break free, and how this sudden event has permanently altered the course of their life. They are coming to you not expecting you to fix their world, but to offer you the truth that you have so patiently earned through your own quiet resilience. Now, as this energy reaches its absolute peak before breaking into the physical world, consider the profound state of emotional and spiritual readiness that is being asked of you. You have walked through a long, grueling valley of waiting, uncertainty, and silent trust. You have had to hold space for a deep connection while the physical world gave you no outward proof that anything was changing. That testing period was not meant to punish you, it was designed to build an unshakable core of self-sovereignty within your spirit. You learned how to detach from frantic outcomes, how to cultivate your own peace, and how to value yourself so deeply that you would never again settle for half-hearted efforts or hidden dynamics. Because you did that hard internal work, you are now standing in a position of complete grace and strength. When your soulmate reaches out to initiate this crucial conversation, you will not be receiving them from a place of desperation, bitterness, or needy validation. You will be receiving them as a whole, empowered individual who stands firmly on their own 2 feet. This subtle shift in your personal power is what makes the dynamic between you balanced, healthy, and sustainable for the long term. You are no longer the one reaching into the dark hoping for a sign. You are the steady harbor welcoming a soul that has finally navigated its way out of a violent storm. Take a moment to release any lingering fears that this shift might somehow falter at the last second or that the conversation will be delayed again. When the universe orchestrates a sudden, massive intervention in someone's life to break a stagnant cycle, it does not stop halfway through the process. The momentum that has been set into motion by this major event is unstoppable because it is driven by the absolute necessity of truth. The structures that were holding them back have already collapsed internally, and it is only a matter of practical moments before that internal collapse manifests as outward action in your physical reality. When you sit down to have this long-awaited conversation, listen with a calm, open, and discerning heart. Allow them to speak their truth, allow them to express the depth of what they experienced during the collapse of their old world, and allow the natural healing energy of true soul recognition to wash over both of your lives. You will find that the awkwardness, the pain, and the weight of the past fade away almost instantly in the presence of genuine authenticity. You will realize that every trial, every delay, and every tear shed in silence was simply the fire that purified the connection, burning away the superficial elements so that only what is golden, real, and indestructible remained. Look back one final time at the journey that brought you to this exact point today. Think of the moments when you felt completely alone, when the silence felt deafening, and when the rest of the world told you to move on and forget what your heart so clearly knew. You held on to your inner light despite the darkness surrounding you. You trusted the quiet, persistent voice of your intuition over the noisy doubts of the mind. That faith was not in vain. The event has occurred, the wall has fallen, the shift is complete, and the person whose soul mirrors yours is stepping forward to claim the truth that has been waiting for both of you all along. Take a deep, slow, cleansing breath and let complete, total peace settle into your chest, your mind, and your life. You do not need to strive, you do not need to worry, and you do not need to force a single thing. Everything that was meant to happen has been set into motion, and the path ahead is clear, peaceful, and fully illuminated by the light of truth. Walk forward into your day with absolute dignity, knowing that your long wait has reached its natural, beautiful fulfillment. If this final reflection has brought complete peace, clarity, and resolution to your heart today, take a moment to honor the journey you have walked. Share your final thoughts or feelings in the comments below, letting your words stand as a testament of faith, resilience, and hope for every soul searching for truth in a complex world. And if you feel guided to stay connected to this space of spiritual alignment, subscribing ensures that our paths will continue to cross whenever gentle reminders of your true power and peace are needed. The narrative of waiting, uncertainty, and hidden truth is officially over. A brand new chapter, written in the brilliant light of absolute alignment, deep mutual respect, and pure love, is beginning right now. Stand tall, keep your heart overflowing with gratitude, and step forward to welcome the fulfillment of a journey that was orchestrated by destiny from the very start.